Craig, tell me about forcing entry to 431 Bexhill Road, St Leonards-on-Sea, and shooting your ex-wife Michelle Savage and her mother Heather Whitbread.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
This is a clip of the police interview that Sussex Police released of Craig Savage, a man who shot and killed his ex-wife and ex-mother-in-law. Please be sure to watch the whole video to see the full released clip of the interview and find out what really happened. If you end up liking the video, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Today's video will be about Craig Savage, a man who could not handle the breakdown of his marriage and as a result of this ended up shooting his ex-wife Michelle Savage and his ex-mother-in-law Heather Whitbread with a semi-automatic rifle. His ex-wife Michelle Savage, aged 32 at the time, had told police that she believed her ex-husband Craig would either kill or hurt her in the weeks before her unfortunate death. Craig, who has then since been described as nasty and bitter, shot his wife along with her mother Heather Whitbread, aged 53, by firing at them at almost point-blank range. Mrs. Savage was shot about 6 times and Miss Whitbread was shot around 7 times at their home in St Leonards, East Sussex on the 16th of March 2008. Their dog Zeus was also found dead in the property. Fortunately, Mrs. Savage's pregnant sister Raven Whitbread, who was aged 24, as well as her 80-year-old grandmother Patricia Groves, hid and escaped unharmed in the property. Savage, who was working as a lorry driver, was subsequently jailed for life with a minimum term of 38 years at Lewes Crown Court in East Sussex. He was acquitted of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life after first being accused of trying to fire at armed police officers who confronted him. He did admit robbery at the beginning of the trial. Now you might be thinking, how did just any other guy from East Sussex end up getting a semi-automatic rifle? Well, it's now been found that he actually stole the semi-automatic rifle from a nearby firing range to carry out the killings, and it's also been said that he showed no emotion when he was found guilty of 2 counts of murder. Prior to the killings, he had tried to blackmail Mrs. Savage into having sex with him one last time after they broke up, and he then went on to threaten her to destroy her life with revenge porn if she did not agree. He then went on to upload about 1,000 photos of her, naked and in underwear, to porn websites when she actually refused. Mrs. Savage filed an online report to Sussex Police in February 2018, telling them of the threats he had been making, keeping a handwritten record of all the incidents. In a statement provided by Mrs. Savage before she died to Sussex Police, she said, "I'm concerned for me and my family's safety as he's becoming more and more aggressive. He is a nasty, spiteful, bitter person, and I know if I stay quiet and do nothing, then things can only get worse. I believe he will hurt me in any way he can, mentally or physically. I believe he wanted to either kill or hurt me. I genuinely don't know which." Mrs. Savage also informed her boss of what was happening in her private life. She said she feared that Craig would bring a knife or pepper spray with him next time he visited, and that she was scared of him. The Independent Office of Police Conduct is investigating how the force handled reports from Mrs. Savage prior to her death. An IOPC spokesperson said, "Our investigators are exploring final lines of inquiry relating to the contact Sussex Police had with Michelle Savage prior to her death and the death of her mother, Heather Whitbread, on March 16, 2018. We have gathered and analysed CCTV footage, obtained statements from police witnesses and conducted interviews. We have also provided family members and Sussex Police with regular updates as the investigation progresses. One member of civilian staff was informed that their conduct may have breached the standards of professional behaviour. However, this does not necessarily mean that misconduct proceedings will follow." Now I'll now proceed to play the clip of the police interview of Craig Savage, which was actually released by Sussex Police. It's only a really short clip, so please be sure to watch all of it and make of it what you will, because I'll be giving my thoughts in the next section of the video.
Craig, tell me about forcing entry to 431 Bexhill Road, St Leonard's on Sea, and shooting your ex-wife Michelle Savage and her mother Heather Whitbread.
It wasn't supposed to happen though. I didn't go there to kill him. It was me that was supposed to die. It was me that was supposed to die, not them. I wanted to die. I wanted the police to kill me. I just wanted her to watch. But I f***ed up. I fell. And the weapon discharged. And that just fucking just erupted. She came charging at me. We were wrestling with the weapon. She's strong. The weapon went off so many times in so many different directions. She went down. But the doctor was supposed to be me. It shouldn't be her. It shouldn't be anyone, just me.
So yeah, as you can see from the footage, this guy was really crying some crocodile tears and trying his best to avoid jail, I guess, after shooting 2 people point blank with a flipping semi-automatic rifle, which is just unheard of, to be fair, in England. And the fact that, this guy was actually, to some extent, known by police prior to this, because his ex-wife reported him countless times. And yet again, it seems to be a running theme on my channel that there's systematic failures at case, and this time it's the police, last time it was social services, before that it was the mental health services. And it just shows that there's a real need for reform in the UK with things like this, and things like this just get brushed under the carpet. We don't see these type of cases on the news all the time. This is something I've had to research pretty in depth myself to actually find in the first place. So the average person is not going to hear about things like this, and they won't know to what extent these services are actually failing us. Number one, as a community, but number two, as just individuals, because in Michelle Savage's case, these failings led to be Savage. She's dead now. She's not going to have a life. Her mum's dead now. So how are you letting things like that slip under the net? It's actually unthinkable. I just believe that we should really take into account that we are being failed at the moment by our services, and I don't want to be the one to blame people. I'm sure there's people in these services that are working very hard, but as a whole, there's a major need for reform, and they've probably been massively underfunded, to be honest. So I'm not lying all the blame with them as well. There's people up above them that should be taking some type of responsibility for this as well every time these things actually happen. But yeah, I'd just like to offer my condolences to Michelle and Heather's families, and I'd say RIP, and I sincerely hope something like this never ever happens again.